start looking at this rusted out fender here, and this one doesn't look the same. It goes on, it's the right shape, but this one's got a join where it hits that valence, and this one goes all the way over to the valence, overlaps it, 6 or 8 inches. Now, this thing should be right in here somewhere. I don't know what the deal is. I got 2 of them, they're both the same. I'm sure that rear wasn't changed there. I don't see why they would stamp something like that with an edge on it there when there's nothing to bolt to or anything else. I don't know if this rear valence here is bolted in or whether you have to cut it out. But anyway, I can definitely cut it, across here somewhere. This is the part I need, is that front part. So I'm just going to cut most of this out of here and see if I can determine what's going on the inside, whether I'm going to need that inner trunk panel. Well, it looks like this whole bottom piece was just made here. I think this was the original fender, and this feels pretty good here, fairly smooth, but I think that's probably just Bondo. I don't know exactly what they did. This could have been it sure feels like it's welded awful solid into this panel right here. Don't know exactly what to do about this. My fender's going up on it, or my panel. It's a couple inches higher. It's right into this area. And I can see some brass right in here. Kind of hard to determine what to do. And this maybe this is a piece that was welded in under it, and this is the original fender. I thought that was a fender because it's rusted out right there in the bottom, but it might not be. This might actually be part of the original fender right here. I don't know if this would be what to cut out of here and what to try to leave alone. Looks like that whole inside piece is kind of chewed up. This piece here is all rotted off. don't know what to do about this. I haven't really taken them apart. Don't know what they're supposed to look like. I think that this inside edge here probably was supposed to be all part of this inside fender here. This was all supposed to be one solid piece, and then this was most likely tack weld to that. Let's see if I can get a clamp on it up here and take a look down to the bottom through the trunk and see if I can see what needs to be done on the inside. I cut the rear of this thing off so I can get a clamp in there, and looking here at the inside, let me get a light. I can see that look like it's matching up here at the fender or the wheel arch, and that piece of on the inside that was rusted, that really was the old fender. And here in the bottom, it looks like there should be a flat piece that goes down, and the fender should go into right there. Get a couple more clamps, see what I can determine. Cutting. This was what was right here. Actually, it was like that. And you see they had quite a mess in there. And then silicone and all kinds of stuff. And it was just holding the fender too far out. So I cut it off. And this is pretty close to where the fender goes now. And if we look inside, the fender's touching pretty much right there on the inner fender well. So I can kind of see that mess up in there. It looks like about 2 or 3 inches more that they kind of made a mess. Probably up to about here. But I think this is about where it goes. I'm looking here at the back, you know, and that's pretty close to being straight right there. You know, it's not bad. Got not very strong, but I do have just a little bit of fender lip right here that it'll probably determine where the fender is sideways. So I'm going to clamp it in and try to get this point here flush and see what it looks like. Good. Got this fender matching that tab real well right there. So that's my up and down point. And I just tapped it with a rubber hammer here to get it to go back. I'm not that's about right, and I'm still good on the bottom. So that's about where my panel needs to go. I think I'll get a magic marker and mark it. I still got some weirdnesses going on here. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. But this part of the metal is pretty decent. And it looks like there's a bolt that's holding this valence on here. Whether I'll take that valence off and try to fix it or weld it, I don't know. But I think that's a pretty good rough fit right now for where this thing's supposed to go. And I got rid of all that bad wheel arch there. Of course, I'll have to bend that over and weld it. It was quite a bit of work. I thought I would just lay it on there and mark it, cut it. Might have been if somebody hadn't been in here before, but not now. On it here said the bottom is good. I've got some clecos. They're little, you drill a hole and then you put them in and they hold a panel in place while you're fooling around and trying to get it to fit. I don't know what I did with them. They're over there on that AMX piled up somewhere. But I can, once I get this screwed in, other guys use self-tapping metal screws and they just screw them in. I don't have any of those, but that would be a pretty good deal. Just put a couple screws in there and that'll hold this where I need it. And then I can take it off and work on it, screw it back on and so forth. So it all looks pretty good. Looks like it's got a, that was right on the edge of the fender. Of course I can, the fender's still moving around. I'm just pushing on it with my knee. And it looks like I got something to do in here. Of course, my trunk pan's rotted out. I don't know whether I should get a, they call it a drop-off panel. Don't know exactly what it entails. Just from looking at the pictures, I couldn't really tell what it does. But anyway, here's one of my patches. And then I can figure out how to cut this other piece, make a patch for it, for this back. Project for another day. I'm getting kind of tired. Well, this bumper bracket here, this one that's rusty looking, I didn't even bother painting it. it was bent up, and so I got this new one here. These are held in with a little rivet sort of thing, and I'm going to take that rivet out, put this new one in, and then I can put this bracket in there. The battery box has got to go in first, so that's why I waited on this. I'll stick this in, but today I'm gonna be working on that passenger rear fender. But for now, I'll do this and get it out from under my feet. Well, I put the got the brace in, bolted up, and it's sticking out here good. I had to put a little paint on it. I'm going to paint the other one up. I've got flat paint in it, but since the arm is glossy, I'm going to paint that whole other bracket glossy. But it's in, and it looks good. Should hold my bumper straight. I cut up some of this panel here and cut this little bottom lip off of the main patch. It looks like it'll go on there, and I've got this kind of clamped on. Looks like it's aligning with the where the other patch is going to go here. And if I look up inside of here, can't really tell with these vice grips in the way, but my edges right here are pretty close to lining up, and I've got it on the bottom of this old rust piece here, so this is going to make a pretty decent little floor for this panel. And then I'll have to make a flat piece here as it comes down. Kind of a jigsaw puzzle that nothing fits. All this metal here in the car is good. And I've got where this one here, you can see it bends and goes up under there. I've got a good edge on the fender. I think what I'm going to do is cut this back like maybe an inch to this area up in here, and I'm going to bend this lip over so I can weld it to that inside piece there. I don't know if I ought to do that or make a whole nother piece that would go in there. I'm trying to get this bottom section right here as far as I can. I really don't want to cut this off in here. Maybe if I cut it straight here, or just cut it to where, like in here somewhere, bend this bottom part over, cut this top off, and that'll match this slope that's on here, because this outside edge was good for my valence. too bad. I wish this would have been the right patch, but I've got it lined up here on the bottom, and I think this will be good for this bottom section. Can't really see from the top. That'll make a pretty decent bottom to there. I don't know where the rest of this front fender is going to be going. It looks like it's going to be almost up into that patch there. I had about an inch overlap, so I should have some overlap in this as well. It's kind of not sure what to do here. I'll keep trying to figure out what I need to do and bring you back when I get a little more knowledge. After quite a bit of pounding and banging and welding, grinding, I've got this piece made. It fits up in this area right here, like that. This is looking pretty good. Let me clamp it in and I'll show you. Got it clamped in. It's lining up with this flange right there. I've got it almost exactly where I had the mark. The thing on this inner panel of this, it's going straight and then it goes up in towards the front of the car right there. Of course, I can adjust this a little. And the front of it over here, when I started off, this was lined up here at the bottom. It looks like I'm about a quarter of an inch off or so. Anyway, you can see how much room I got there. This is like half an inch from the old place where the valence bolted on. So this whole fender here's got to kind of twist and go up. It aligned with the bottom down here pretty close. You can still see there's quite a gap in there. But it altered my positioning here, and I got quite a bit of gap in here now. So I think what I'm going to do, this original position was good. Reclamp it. Reclamped it. That's about where I had it marked in the first place. This flange is lining good up here. As soon as I try to pull it down here on the bottom, it's pulling it away from the car. I can maybe bend this a little bit. I could probably split it right here and get more of a curve in it to bring that up. But it's not looking too bad. On the inside it will be bad. I've just got way too much room in here. It warped a little when I was welding it. I don't know if I'm showing you anything. So I was making this. I was going to just weld this in on the fender, but I have to get this bottom rusted out place here. I got to get rid of that. So we'll just keep going. Looks like I might be able to split this right in here and put a little more curve in it. It's going to take some doing. Hole in here because this bracket that holds the valence on is sticking up 3/4 of an inch. So I measured out where I think it'll fit, and now I put this valence on and see if it's see what I got then. Well, it turns out that what has to happen first, let's see if I can get this light up in here where it'll stay. Probably not. But anyway, this yeah, that's good enough. What happens is this valence panel goes up into there, and that has to bolt in. And it's got an edge that drops off here to the valence. That's actually the corner of the fender. And this piece that I cut for the fender goes right in there, right about there. So I have to have a little drop off from here down to there, and a flat plate across there. So I have to replace this whole piece here. What I'm going to do is make a piece that's the right size, and then drill me a hole and fix a bolt there where that valence goes on it, and then cut that all off, weld a bolt on it so I can bolt it up, and then I can go from there to try to see where that fender patch goes. But this is kind of dictating the whole thing here with this valence moving around. This has got to be a straight line that matches the valence, and the only way to hold the valence is to fix this panel. So that's what I'll do. Here's a little piece with a drop off on it. I think I can probably cut that up. We'll see what happens. Piece welded in here good. I'm gonna drill me a hole there. And then I'm going to cut this this kind of rusty plate out of here and try to weld it up a little better from the bottom. And then I'll put a piece all the way across here. I left just a little gap between the the fender and this, so I can weld that all up in one piece. I'll put a piece up in there and mark it, and so I can grind that curve on it and cut it all off. But for now I gotta just cut the rest of this bad chunk off of here. Rust cut off and welded up and ground down a little bit. Now drill a hole in it where that black square is, and then I'll paint this whole thing here nice black, and that'll protect. Now, this had a little fancy lag bolt that went in it, so I just I welded a bolt into it. So now I got this painted and my hole drilled, so I'm gonna put it up there and see what it fits like. Together just fine, and I was able to get a nut and a washer and a lock washer on there. Might be a little bit hard to tighten up, but probably not any harder than the original was. I got my little spacer and everything in there that was in there before. So it looks like this is all good. And this shape of this tail panel here is really what's going to determine the shape of my fender. I can move it around a little bit. Where'd my fender panel go? So it looks like it's going to be a real good fit there. All right.
I'm gonna bring it to my friend to shoot the whole thing in the pen is not touching.
So my fender patch is good now. It's about where I marked it. The valence is good and solid. I've got a 1/8 of an inch spacer in there. I probably need to take it out, but the inside looks pretty good. I'm lining up down here on the bottom. So that's good. So at least my inner fender brace is about where it should be. And of course you can see there I don't have to move this panel hardly at all to get it to line up to where that valence is. Yeah, just but it's supposed to be gone into here. Of course this still can move around too because it's just sheet metal, but I think that'll be good enough. I may cut this back a little bit further here, weld it into what's left of this fender, and anything that's left there I can bondo it up. So anyway, the little brace looks plenty good, strong, welded in. I need to grind it down, of course, and paint it. And I'll do that once after I put this plate across the bottom. So there's a whole day's work for a couple inches of stuff, and a lot of this fancy welding I did on here, I had to cut it all off, but I did wind up with that one bottom piece there, and that's the one I need to fit here on the bottom of this fender. So that's all pretty good, and I won't have a lot of trouble welding up whatever I need in here. And so anyway, that was a pretty good lick for today. I'm kind of tired of sitting here and see the pile of tools that I had out. All of them, grinder and polisher and drill and wire brush. Yeah, everything. I don't really feel like cleaning this mess up, but I'll probably just rake it all back in here for now. See how I keep my shop clean. And I'm kind of tired, so I'll say that's a pretty good deal for today. And this one won't be near as much trouble. All the edge of the fender there where the valence hooks on is good. But it took all day. But I'm real happy with the result. And you won't be able to see it from the bottom. Of course, this is all going to be undercoated. So when I get it done, if somebody crawls under it and wants to see if it was rusted out, they can tell there's a patch in it. But it's not a, rust bolted over the top of rust. It'll be good and solid there. Good for what I want.